The Center for Democratic Development, CDD-Ghana, has described the first year of President John Dramani Mahama's second administration as a story of promising signals constrained by structural realities. While the CDD commends the government's stabilization drive, it also highlights significant implementation gaps across governance, anti-corruption, and environmental sectors that require urgent attention. There is more in the following report by ChannelOne News' Christopher Kevin Asima.
The Center for Democratic Development, CDD-Ghana, says President John Dramani Mahama's first year in his second term reflects promising signals constrained by structural realities. The report credits the administration with strong microeconomic stabilization, improved releases of the District Assembly Commons Fund, major investments in education and social protection, and initiatives such as the new Code of Conduct and the establishment of the Constitutional Review Committee. It also notes progress in health financing and Ghana's renewed diplomatic engagement on the continent. However, CDD-Ghana raises concerns about governance and accountability. It cited vigilante incidents during the transition period, a lack of transparency in the removal of the Chief Justice, the frequent use of certificate of agency in Parliament, and perceived gaps in anti-corruption enforcement. The report further highlights the worsening illegal mining crisis, rising environmental recovery costs, and persistent security and defense challenges despite ongoing institutional reforms.
What has to be commended is that the signaling that we have a serious issue and leadership must show that it is committed to transparency, accountability, is committed to resetting the space. It's important. It's not to say what we have observed and what we have felt, and even we have to talk about the economy and some of the steps that have been taken that has brought some relief.
Reflecting on the defense, security and peace-building aspect of the report, Colonel Festus Abuaje, retired, stressed that government must prioritize building strong institutions to prevent recurring crises within the country's security and peace-building architecture. He also called on government to explore alternative and sustainable solutions to the Boko conflict.
The Boko crisis, anybody who understands the history, goes beyond the rule of law. Because there is short to the rule of law, i.e. enforcing whatever the courts have decided, can only go on for about 8 more years. At any time the government changes, we can be sure that there is going to be a deepening of the crisis.
Speaking on government's fight against illegal mining, the Deputy Director of Arocha Ghana, Darrell Bosu, indicated that current efforts are not adequate and called for stronger deterrent measures.
I think that for certain locations, some deterrence should be allowed, and that should include also burning excavators. Now, the other thing, I think the way NIMOS is being deployed, we really need to improve upon that. It is woefully inadequately resourced, and until we really enable them to be stationed permanently in some of these hot zones, we are not going to be able to deal with some of these increments that we are seeing.
CDD-Ghana's report concludes that the reset agenda remains a work in progress, credible in intent, but uneven in its delivery. Reporting for ChannelOne News, I am Christopher Kevin Asima.